Hello everyone, this is Victor, and in this video I'd like to share with you a little bit of my experience pursuing and getting two scholarships here at the University of Glasgow. One for my PGT degree, which I started in 2021, and one for my PGR degree, which I started in 2022. And before I begin, I just want to make it very clear that this is by no means a recipe for how you may get scholarships. It is entirely about my own experience, but it may help you in your own pursuit for scholarships, so stay tuned. So when I first came to Glasgow, I was going to do a PGT or a Postgraduate Thought degree, the MSc Music Industries. And because funding was such a crucial part of my plan, as I'm sure it is for most people, I obsessively looked for scholarships that were adequate to my situation. The good thing is that the university has a system built into its website called the Scholarships Database, which helps you search for scholarships based on your nationality and the type of course you're going to attend. So I cannot recommend enough that you make use of the system. So back in 2020 I went for it, and searching the system I found out that I would be eligible for the International Leadership Scholarship, which gives international students doing PGT degrees a fee waiver of £10,000. And while this was not a full scholarship, it was the best I could get based on my situation, and it would definitely help myself and my family a lot. And this is where things start to get a little bit more tense, because of course you have to think that there are way more applicants eligible and qualified to get the scholarship than there are scholarships available, as is the case with every single scholarship application you're ever going to face in your life. So you might ask, how do you make sure you get one of these scholarships? And sadly, the answer to this is you don't. Sadly, there is no certainty in this business. But what you can do is seek to increase your chances and become a better competitor. And so I did this first by being extremely thorough with my application. So I made sure that all of my documents were in perfect shape, I sought the best possible recommendation letter, and I applied super early as well. So just to give you a brief idea, my course was due to start in September 2021, and I placed my application by October 2020. And while none of these can be considered decisive factors, I am convinced that each of these added a little bit more of weight to my chances. And my second approach to this process was essentially showing interest. So I remember that even after I had already received my offer of a place for the university, I kept attending the monthly information sessions for international students, even if I already knew what was going to be said. And so doing this has helped me really understand more about the selection process of the scholarship that I was going for, and it allowed me to know precisely who I could contact about this. And so I became very vocal about this, asking questions and making it very clear that I was qualified and eager to get the scholarship, of course in a very respectful manner. And so in April 2021, I was notified of having received the International Leadership Scholarship. And even though by that moment I had already received an offer of a place to study at the University of Glasgow, this was an even more special moment to me, because I think we all know that what keeps most people from doing something like studying abroad are purely financial barriers. So this was the moment I knew for sure that I was coming to Glasgow. So cut to 1 year after that. I came to Glasgow in October 2021, and by May 2022, I was already moving towards the end of my PGT degree, and I was starting to consider going even further in academia, which essentially meant pursuing a PhD. The only problem with that is that application cycles for PhD scholarships start super early. So if I had wanted to start a PhD by September 2022, I would have to have started that application by November 2021, so that was completely out of the question for me. So I have to say that the application process for this scholarship was way more straightforward than the previous one. And later I found that it was actually very similar to applying for a PhD scholarship. So essentially you have to fill out this huge form talking about your academic qualifications and background, and above all, you need to submit a research proposal, which is the #1 thing you'll be evaluated on. So the process of applying for a research scholarship was way more time and energy consuming, that's for sure. But on the other hand, it did give me more opportunities to refine my ideas and overall just gave me a better notion of where I was standing as I was engaging with the process. And again, I felt like it really helped that I showed interest and actively reached out to people who could help me with my application. And so I submitted my application, and by June 2022, I was notified of having received the Creativity, Inclusivity, and the Virtual Scholarship. And that's what led me to pursue my second master's degree here at the University of Glasgow. And so before wrapping up this video, I just wanted to reflect a little bit on what I have told you. Because even though these were two very different scholarships and processes, I think there are some very crucial similarities between them. First, I think my experience shows that being actively engaged and looking for scholarship opportunities is always beneficial. And that is because knowing about the processes ahead of time always gives you some advantage and allows you to prepare better. And for that, I will recommend again that you use the University of Glasgow scholarship database. And second, I believe that my story indicates that showing interest and reaching out to people is a great trait to have when you're trying to compete for a scholarship. Be it because it will help you stand out as a serious applicant, or because it may help you connect with people who can help you with your application in ways that you may not even imagine. And third, I think that goes without saying, but being very serious about your academic trajectory is absolutely crucial. Bear in mind that if you decide to go further in academia, you will eventually find yourself in this big funding ladder. And then the scholarship for your undergraduate or master's degrees will be just the first of many funding applications you will place in your life. And it's very important to keep in mind that in this ladder, each previous success that you have will increase your chances in being successful in the next step. So please bear in mind that I'm not saying that if you have one bad grade or one fail, this will doom your chances forever, because of course these things happen to everyone. However, taking good care of your track record and academic background is absolutely crucial if you want to succeed in this game. And I think that's it. I sincerely hope this video has helped you understand a little bit more about scholarship application processes, and especially how wildly diverse they can be. And again, if you feel like you need a scholarship to study at the University of Glasgow, please go check out the scholarships database. And so now, if you'll excuse me, I have a PhD scholarship application to write. So catch you later.